Is there such thing as too much therapy or being overly therapized? I'm Lauren, I'm a therapist, and I think the answer is yes. Let me elaborate. I talk to clients a lot about the idea of not having to identify with a diagnosis and not having to identify necessarily as someone who struggles with mental illness. Listen, I'm not saying that I'm anti-therapy or that I think that you shouldn't be in therapy for the long term. I think a lot of people need to be in therapy for an extended amount of time or maybe their whole life, and that is okay. Where we get into trouble, I think, is the over-identification with therapy and the over-identification with being a person in therapy. Instead of just being a person who happens to struggle with something, therapy almost becomes the whole identity of the person who is overly therapized. They're living, breathing, thinking about therapy at all times outside of the therapy space, rather than utilizing therapy as the tool and then going and living a better life. I'll use myself as an example. I struggled with disordered eating. I went and got treatment for that. I did sort of make therapy my identity by becoming a therapist, but now I don't think about that part of my life as being my identity for the rest of my life. It's just a part of who I am. It's a part of my content. It's a part of my therapy practice. It is a part of what I do, but it is not the whole of what I do. I really don't think about that time in my life when I'm just living my day-to-day life. When I was struggling, the biggest thing was I don't want to identify with this for the rest of my life, and I don't want to be thinking about this for the rest of my life. Sometimes where people struggle is when they treat themselves like this ongoing project and they treat therapy and therapy concepts as if they are constantly going to be a part of their life. Really what I think the whole purpose of therapy and even ongoing therapy and check-ins and maintenance and all that stuff is to learn certain skills when you need help and when you are struggling. And that could take on many different forms, and then go out in your life and live your life. Like in parts work, sometimes we ask the parts, like, what would you be doing if you weren't thinking about this thing? You'd be connecting, you'd be creating, you'd be doing all these different things that are outside of the mental health therapy space and creating a life and a purpose outside of one part of your identity and one part of your life, which is your struggle. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me on this one, because I know it might ruffle some feathers, but someone had to say it, so.